communities are tremendously impacted by just meeting the needs of individuals. What we have found is that most of our customers have at least 4 dependents, and as well, they're able to create employment opportunities for others. So on average, they're creating more than 2 jobs per individual that we're making a loan to. So by definition, you're impacting the resilience of that community. But I think that's one of the more quantitative measures that you can look at. The other measures that you can look at is what our customers do with the additional income that they're able to generate. The number one priority that they have is that they want to send their children to school. And that's actually the most important thing, especially for women, because they want to invest in future generations. They want to invest in the potential of their children to earn even higher incomes. But also, women disproportionately invest in health. So we know that if we are able to generate individual income within community contexts, that those communities actually flourish. And then the last and most important piece possibly is that particularly with women who are new to financial services and who are able to generate an income, they also get an increased voice. So they find that they're actually more likely to act in their communities as representatives of other women, to advocate for the changes that need to be made. And I think that that's something that we undervalue and really need to shine a spotlight on. I was just in Zambia recently, and I always find like it's the most recent visit that I've had with a customer that really sticks with me for a long time. But I was in Zambia, and I was meeting with 2 slightly older women who have been running businesses reselling pigs and goats. And they don't make a ton of money from these businesses. And I was asking them, well, what are you doing with the proceeds of those businesses? Because it's really, really hard work. And they said that they were investing in building houses. And I asked, well, it's not the most profitable thing that you could invest in. Why are you choosing to invest in those houses? And they explained to me that they're going to be able to rent those houses to people, and that when they are no longer able to work, they will have a passive flow of income that will help them to live on through their retirement, as it were, when they're no longer physically able to do the job that they're currently doing. And I think that kind of illustrates a couple of different points, which is, one, we need to think about what kind of financial services are going to be useful in the context of the communities that we're trying to serve. They're actually really smart women because they don't have anything else that's going to support them when they're no longer able to do these really physically challenging jobs. And they're actually making really smart investments in things that they know are going to help to support them as they can't do that anymore. So that's one story. The other story that I think is really inspiring is actually about one of our investees. So we also, unbeknownst to many, have a venture investment arm at FINCA. And the aim of that arm is to create employment opportunities, but also to generate social impacts that are going to help our customers do better. So it's in things like access to clean water, access to education, access to improved farming techniques. So one of our partners is a company called Good Nature Agro. They are one of the biggest seed producers in Zambia. And what they have been able to do is actually move 4,000 small farmers from being subsistence level farmers to being commercially viable farmers. And I think that as much as we also want to look at the individual and impact the individual, we want to also create opportunities where we're actually putting people into a value chain. And what Good Nature Agro has been able to do is guarantee the buyback of any seeds that those farmers produce, which helps them to improve their income and also helps them to invest more because they feel more confident about taking that risk. Zambia depends 85% on hydroelectric power. They're going through a major drought right now. So the availability of power to pretty much any normal business is 2 to 3 hours a day. And crop yields are down 50% because of the drought. And so, there's obviously a lot of risk that percolates to the surface under those circumstances. You have small businesses that aren't able to operate. You have agricultural production that is, clearly been severely impaired. My argument would be that that's exactly the time that we need to lean into places versus leaning out of them. And what we found is that most of the small entrepreneurs that we work with, they're actually incredibly creative and resilient. So if those businesses are exposed, they tend to pivot to other kinds of businesses that will continue to function. So if they're working in something that requires electricity, they'll pivot into a resale opportunity that doesn't require any power. But it also really reinforces the need for us to invest in much more sustainable agriculture type practices and to educate our customers about things that they can do to mitigate the impact of drought. And I think that that's, for me at least, one of the biggest imperatives for why we need to invest more in Africa now. We need to be able to help people to make that pivot so that their productivity isn't impaired, and so that we don't end up having, later on down the road to help people with relief instead of helping them to make a change.